speaking of the FBI, you brought it up. We're recording this on Wednesday when news is broken that Kansas. I would say it was a slap on the wrist, but I actually think a literal, like if the NCAA would have called Bill Self into the NCAA offices in Indianapolis and actually slapped him on the wrist, I think that would have been a harsher punishment than they actually got. I think they would have given him one slap on the wrist. That would have been harsher than what Kansas got. Your emotions, your thoughts, processing. Is this? I think this was the last case, right? Is the FBI saga is officially done now that the Kansas judgment has been passed? As a guy whose team got absolutely fucked by all of this, seeing what has transpired and now the dust has settled and basically like Rick Pitino's the only guy of note that was fired. Your emotions today as you see what Kansas was not punished basically.
My emotion, well, one, I'm going to miss the IARP. RIP to the IARP. It was very much like I had a teacher in high school who taught geometry who I hated, who like would not let me drop down to a lower level. He's like, you can do this. I'm like, I really can't. I'm bad at math. And he was an asshole. He had to have surgery like midway through the year. And he brought in this sub who could not have given a shit less. Shout out to Miss Davis. I love you forever. So like when Miss Davis was there, like everybody got like a 99 in the class. It was great. And it saved all of our grades for the entire year. And then he came back from surgery and we all got like 75s. The IARP was basically Miss Davis. You know, she's just like very cool, very much like, hey, some stuff probably went on before I got here, but now that I'm here, we're going to let it slide. You're going to be okay. We're going to move forward. It's time to look at the future. And nobody besides Oklahoma State really got punished that much. Now, Kansas they had to vacate the 15 games that Sylvia DeSosa played in, and they gave up the 2018 banner, which my initial reaction was like, why couldn't they have won 2 more games and then we could have somebody with us that had a national championship taken away? It made me feel a little bit better about myself, but that didn't happen. I know Kentucky fans were very excited because they got the all-time winningest program record back that Kansas just overtook last year. So there was that going on, but like it was like there was a part of me that was shocked when you look at the fact that like Rick Pitino, which this was part of the problem too. Like all the Adidas guys on their calls or their texts, they're like, Rick has no idea what the hell's going on here. He's not involved in any of this. He's not like which again is part of the problem here. He had a little bit more of an idea, but he really and truly, according to everybody, like did not know that this paying of players was going on. Whereas Bill Self, he's having dinner with TJ Gassnola before he's inducted into the Hall of Fame. Like TJ Gassnola's texting him and he's like, hey, besides DeAndre Ayton, we've always gotten you every guy that you've ever wanted. Bill Self's like totes, fist bump emoji, like cash band emoji, 100 emoji. Like they're texting back and forth. They're clearly very close, and it's very obvious that they helped Kansas get players for years and years and years.
Of course.
But they're saying they're like Kansas is our top priority. Everybody else comes second. Like all this stuff, and yet and still, it's like no, 4 games for him, 4 games for Townsend. It's all good. We're moving forward. It is a little bit crazy. The fact that Will Wade is a head coach now.
I know.
It's shocking.
I can't figure out how Self had the self-imposed, pun intended, I guess, the ban, the suspension, I should say. But then also their messaging is like, we've done absolutely nothing wrong, but just in case we did, we're going to suspend them these games. And but we didn't do anything wrong. But if we did, we're still going to suspend. Well, we're suspending them not for the things that we did wrong, but more so because you think that we did things wrong, which we didn't, but we're going to suspend. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? It's just, I'm mad. I'm not like clutching my pearls saying like Kansas deserved to be punished, because I truly don't give a shit. Like when I saw the news that Kansas basically got off the hook and Kansas off the hook, I don't care. I mean, we've talked about this a million times. I'm like, I want Louisville's banner to go back up. Like none of this shit actually matters to me. But I am frustrated that I was sucked into this vortex of like thinking that shit was going to pop off and shit was going to go down. And I look back on like the last 6 years and I'm like, I was lied to by the FBI. I was lied to by the NCAA. I was lied to by HBO when they made a documentary, and I watched every second of it and I was like, oh shit, here we go. There's how many moments along the way where I was like, this changes everything. Holy shit. And for basically the dust to settle and like nothing really happened, but it did kind of happen. And like Louisville got fucked a little bit and Oklahoma State got fucked a little bit. But Kansas doesn't. But like, you know, it's all just like a complete farce. And I say that to say not like self-deserved to get punished, but more so put the banner back up, Louisville. Put the banner back up. Oklahoma State should like just completely secede from the NCAA at this point if I was them. I just want to see like everybody that got fucked to like fight back in some way. I just don't know what that looks like.